I heard you've been neglecting yourself. I heard you haven't been setting boundaries. I heard that you're looking at yourself in the mirror and you're being mean to my friend, to you. Yes, you, I'm talking to you. I heard that you are struggling to give yourself self love. And that is exactly why we are falling back in love with ourselves this February. Fitting for February because it's Galentine's Day and Valentine's Day, and it is the month of love. There is also so much going on in the astrology world. There's just so much going on in February. There's just so much energy. And I want you to put all of that back into you this month. Welcome back to the Self Love Archives podcast. I am your host, Julia Salvia, your self love bestie. Welcome back. Hi. Welcome to February. Our very first episode of February 2026 is all about falling back in love with yourself. And this is our theme, this is our vibe, this is your focus for the month of February. I want you to focus on you this month. That's why I'm giving you 4 different ways that you can fall back in love with yourself in the month of February. There are 4 weeks in February to the dot, to the T, to the day. And this episode just happens to fall on the very first day of February too. And my birthday falls on the last day of February. Not that that matters, but just in case you wanted to know. So you have 28 days this month to fall back in love with yourself. And this isn't going to be a crazy task. I am not telling you to climb a mountain. Pun intended to our January self-love book club book, The Mountain Is You. I just want you to take small steps, small actionable steps this month to fall back in love with you. When you look in the mirror at the end of this month, I want you to be like, wow, in 28 days, I do love myself more. I am falling back in love with myself. That is exactly the energy that I want you to feel, and that is the love that I want you to feel for you at the end of this month. So let's get into it. I need you to start keeping promises to yourself. I need you to start trusting yourself again. And the way to do that is you need to keep your promises. If you say you are going to do something, do it. If you say that you are going to try something, try it. If you say that you are going to eat more protein and have more protein in your diet, I need you to do it. If you say that you're going to brush your teeth every single morning, I also need you to do it. But what I also need you to do when you make these promises to yourself, and let's say that one day you say you're going to wake up at 8 a.m. every single day and you just so happen to sleep through your alarm and you're really tired and your body's exhausted. I need you to be kind to yourself. You have made a promise to yourself and you intend to keep that promise to yourself. You have continuously woken up at 8 o'clock almost every single day, right? But these 2 days, your body was exhausted. Your body was tired. Your body was like, hey, I need sleep. Hey, I need rest. Today, I just need to sleep in. And I need you to be kinder because that is also okay too. When we break a promise to ourselves in a case like this, we are not abandoning our promises. We are not abandoning ourselves. We are repairing it. We are jumping back into it the next day. We are waking up at 8 a.m. the next day and acknowledging that our body just needed more sleep. When you are keeping promises to yourself, you are genuinely making this promise with intention and with love. Because the thing is that when we break promises to ourselves consistently, let's say you made that same promise, wake up at 8 o'clock every single day, and you continuously wake up at 9, 10, 11, and barely wake up at 8 o'clock. When we break promises to ourselves, we stop believing in ourselves. We stop feeling safe with ourselves. We need to rebuild the credibility, our credibility with ourselves, to trust ourselves more. And the way to do that is to keep our promises to ourselves. I want you this month to choose 1 to 3 non negotiable promises. I'm not talking about these huge, giant, like I don't want you to like do a full overhaul of your life. I want you to choose 1 to 3 non negotiable promises that you know you can keep. I want them to be small enough where it's hard to fail at them, but I also want them to be big enough where it's just a little bit of a push to get you to do them. Something that you know you should be doing already, something that you already know feels good. Some of those things could be a 10-minute walk a day, journaling, maybe a paragraph each day, reading a book before bed, waking up at 8 a.m., something that you know is going to just add to your life, something that you know is going to be so easy for you to keep a promise. Not something that you've already been doing, not something that you have already kind of had in your routine, something that maybe you've been slightly struggling with, but also something that is small enough that it is hard to not keep this promise to yourself. Falling in love with yourself again is not about doing more. It's about knowing that you are someone that you can rely on. You are going to fall back in love with yourself in February because you are going to choose self-respect over self-criticism. You know, when you're looking in the mirror at yourself and you're like saying all of these horrible things and you don't even realize it. Or when we're talking to someone and then you repeat that same thing that you said to this one person and then you're questioning why you said it, how you said it, if that was okay, if that wasn't okay, or saying sorry after every single time you say something when there's just no sorry needed. That ends this month, this time in February. That's done. We are leaving that behind us. Self-respect is not about perfection. Self-respect is about boundaries, it's about honesty, and it's about values. It's about your standards. We are sticking to our boundaries. We know what they are, right? You know what these are. You know what your values are. You know what your boundaries are. You know what honesty looks like. And when you are honest and when you might not be so honest, you know what you need. You know what you want. Act on it. Respect yourself enough to set the boundary. Respect yourself enough to be honest. Everything else will fall into place. The way that we're practicing self-respect in February is we are not negotiating our basic needs anymore. No, we're not negotiating our basic needs. You need certain things in your day-to-day and we're just not negotiating it anymore. We're choosing actions that align with our values, even when it's hard, even when it might be inconvenient, even when it's uncomfortable. We're still making the right, honest choice that is going to align with our values and is going to align with the vision that we have created for ourselves for this higher version of ourselves that we want to become. I need you to start saying no without guilt, without justification. Stop saying you're sorry. Stop saying because this, because that. Trust me, I do it all the time. I always feel like I need to over-explain myself and explain my reasoning, tell someone why I chose this, tell someone why I felt this way about that. You don't need to. There's no need for justification. There's no need to over-explain. It's a no because you said no. And that is good enough. Understand where you abandon yourself to avoid being uncomfortable or to avoid discomfort. Sometimes the things that we know we need to do or should do because we know it feels good and it's the right choice for us can feel like we're living in discomfort, at least for a little while. Our bodies don't like change. It is a lot to get us to push ourselves to become a different version of ourselves or to start a new habit or a new routine. Sometimes sitting in comfortability is abandoning yourself, like staying in a relationship you know you shouldn't be staying in. Part of self-respect as well is the way that you speak to yourself. Watch the way that you talk to yourself and watch the way that you respond to others or how you feel before you respond to others. We can be so critical of ourselves and we're ready to leave that behind because if we do, we can start to fall in love with ourselves again. It becomes so much easier to love ourselves when it's rooted in self-respect. And to that same point, we are falling back in love with ourselves in February because we are protecting our energy. That means getting honest in the choices that you're making. Remember that a yes sometimes can be uncomfortable and a no can sometimes be uncomfortable. Whatever the choice is, it's rooted in honesty and it's connected to your vision and your values. It's made to protect you. It is for you. You are making this choice for you. So often we choose to make choices based on what sounds good, what we think other people would want for us, maybe something that sounds responsible in the moment, or something that just kind of keeps the peace. And as we continually do that, we start to just lose ourselves in the process. And we start to unalign ourselves with our goals, our values, our vision. We start to unalign ourselves with ourselves. And the only way to bring yourself back to that is to start making choices and decisions that are rooted in honesty, that are done to protect your peace, that are done for the betterment of you. Every time we come to a place of needing to make a decision that might be hard, we're asking, is this going to drain me or is this going to nourish me? Is this going to empty my cup, deplete my battery, or is this going to add to my cup, charge my battery? I want you to choose one area of your life, work, environment, relationships, health, where you can set clearer boundaries, where you can tweak the boundaries that you already have, make them clearer to understand. Somewhere where you can keep your promise to yourself that you are going to set these boundaries and stick to it. We're not over explaining our decisions. If it's a no, it's a no, and if it's a yes, it's a yes. I need you to start disappointing people, because if you don't start disappointing people, then you're just abandoning yourself. And when you abandon yourself, you're not on the path to loving yourself more. When you realize that disappointing people is the best thing you can do because you're making choices for you and you are making decisions for the betterment of you, it will be so freeing. You will realize that the only people you are disappointing in your life are the people that may not actually belong in it. You will realize that the people who you disappointed by setting a boundary that protected your peace were actually the people who were benefiting from you not having a boundary at all. Self-love is choosing alignment again and again and again, because the people who want to be in your life will understand, because the people who belong in your life will understand. We are protecting our peace, not our image, and we are falling in love with ourselves again. I saved the best for last. We are falling in love with ourselves. You are falling in love with yourself again in February because you are letting go of the past version of yourself. This version of yourself that you keep trying to go back to, keep trying to return to, keep trying to live vicariously through, she is not you anymore. And the minute that you accept that, know that, and understand that, is the moment you become so free that you get to move forward into the present and the future version of you. The past version of you is always going to be part of you. The bits, the pieces, the stories, the experiences, the pieces that were you, the past version of you is always going to be part of you, but she is not you today. I think it's so funny when we yearn to be this version of ourselves before a breakup, or this person that we were before we got this job, or before we had this experience, or we always want to go back to this past version of ourselves, maybe like a happier version of ourselves. We neglect to realize that we know so much more now. We have seen so much more now. Without her, we wouldn't be who we are today. And how cool is that? We will never be the same person that we were. We will never be who we were yesterday, a week ago, a month ago, a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, will never be that person again. And the grief that we are holding on to, the version of us that we are holding on to, is just holding us back. As hard as it is to move beyond our past sometimes, it is the best thing that we can do for ourselves. I'm not saying forget who you were. I'm not saying to completely uproot your life and forget this past version of you. I'm saying live in the present now. Be all of the good that you were as the past version of you, and elevate all of that into who you are today and who you are working towards. We are all of the bits and pieces of the story that came before us, of all of the chapters that came before us, because if we didn't have all of that, then we wouldn't be who we are now. But we're not living in the then, we are living in the now, and we are moving towards the future. But we can't get there if we keep trying to live vicariously through a version of ourselves that we just aren't anymore. It gets so hard to love ourselves when we are in a constant state of comparison with our past selves. She will always be a part of us, but you are you right now in this moment. You are a better version of her. Despite what you think, you are a better version of the past version of yourself. If you sit here and think about it, would you have ever made this choice, that choice? Would you have ever been with him if you were you now? I don't think so. You would have made choices differently, but you couldn't have been her without the past version of you when we're grieving an old identity or a past version of ourselves. It can be really hard to let it go. It can even be hard when other people can't seem to let this old version of you go either. Like, for example, my mom still thinks that I wake up at like 11 o'clock. And every time, were you sleeping? No, Mom, it's 11 a.m. I am not sleeping. I've been up for 5 hours. What version of yourself do you keep comparing yourself to? If there's a past version of you that gave you more ease, more freedom, maybe more confidence, ask yourself how those feelings can exist now, but in a different form, in the version that you are right now. You don't fall back in love with yourself by becoming who you were. You fall back in love with yourself by accepting who you are becoming. How do you feel? Do we feel like we have all the tools, all the actionable steps, everything that you need to fall back in love with yourself in February? I hope so. My lights in my office are telling me it is time to end the episode. But I feel like we went over so much. I feel like I'm set up to love myself more this month and fall back in love with myself again. If you need something that is just more joyful in your life for the month of February, romanticize every single moment you possibly can. Once you have kept your promises, set your boundaries, and created a lot and have had a lot of self-respect for yourself. Once you have let go of the past version of you and protected your energy, romanticize your life a little bit. Have a girls' night. Take yourself out on a solo date. Do something for you. I hope this episode was helpful. And if it was, please, please, please share that with me. I love to hear your stories. I love to see how my words have impacted you and how this podcast has impacted you. It means the absolute world to me. I love you so much. I am sending you all the love in the world for February, and I can't wait to hear all about how you fell back in love with exactly who you are by the end of this month. Bye.